entertainmentbuddha.com.
Hey everyone, this is Ray Parekha of Entertainment Buddha, and I am happy to be back today with another episode of 15 Minutes of Fame. Today we're going to be featuring Final Fantasy XV's demo, which came out, I guess, earlier this week with the release of Type 0. I, much like a lot of you role-playing game fans out there, have been waiting too many years to count for this, so I'm very excited to kind of show off the game to you guys. If you're not familiar with 15 Minutes of Fame, generally, myself or members of the Entertainment Buddha staff kind of pick a game, put a timer on, play through it for 15 minutes, give our off-the-cuff feelings about it, and then release it for you guys to watch and kind of see what a game's all about. Unfortunately, the load time for this demo, it's a little long, so we're going to wait to start the timer until the game starts in proper, and then we're going to go have some fun with it. So we'll be back once the game is loaded. Still waiting. Still waiting. I think we're going to highlight, the demo, I guess I should say, it has its own little story arc to it. Right now I'm in the process of recording a full playthrough of it, which we'll have up on our Entertainment Buddha soon. However, for the purpose of this 15 Minutes of Fame little quick look, I think we're just going to kind of play around with the battle system, look at some of the cool designs of the world and what have you. Kind of give you a feel of what the hour-to-hour gameplay will be like in the game. I'm excited. I hope you are. This is a pretty awesome demo, and it's been about 10 years in the making, so as the game boots in, let's give it a go. So the first thing you'll be able to see, the game, despite being a demo, it is gorgeous. I believe Square Enix said Final Fantasy XV is about 60% complete right now, but already it has tons of polish. So this is your kind of main team right here. Noctis is the main character. We have Gladios, Ignis, and Prompto going down the line there, and they're all pretty cool. So far the characters haven't begun to be grating as Final Fantasy characters often can, but I guess we'll see what happens when the full game comes out. So big open spaces. Let's take a look at the map too. You can kind of see this is the playable area in the demo. It's pretty big. There's a lot of different locations, environmental changes, etc. The demo wants me to, I think I'm supposed to investigate some stuff. We're going to kind of just wander around instead, but there is a lot to do in the demo. Oh yeah, there's cars. Those are pretty cool. I believe if you get hit by a car in the right way too, you can kind of clip through the game world and get to some areas you're not supposed to. My love for weird glitches and clips, maybe we'll play with that later. I don't know. I haven't messed around with it too much yet. Animation-wise, the game's pretty cool. There's a lot of, fun kind of things like Noctis sort of getting tired after a sprint, as you just saw there. That red line you're seeing above the screen, that indicates if you're coming into battle, like we are now. So let's show this off. Oh, never mind. Let's jump right back into it. I do have some issues with this battle system, and just it feels kind of clunky. Nice parry there. The combat system is definitely similar to Kingdom Hearts, as we've heard, and I'm sure you've all seen by now. But it's good. It's fast-paced. Noctis has this cool ability to do warp strikes and dodge around, which you're seeing here. It's also pretty easy to dodge. A lot of different weapons. Noctis's big thing in combat is that he can switch or summon different weapons, which, let's see if I can do some combos and show that off. like that lance. Well, I guess I got bopped, but different skills and techniques you can use. Pretty diverse selection. Holding R1 targets your enemies, or locks on. L1 is your defensive stance. In this stage of the demo, or I guess of the game, the combat doesn't feel really fully fleshed out, which I'm sure, you know, like I said, the game's 60% finished or whatever, so there's plenty of room. Let's see if I can go help out my boy. Oh, they got him. Yeah, the world size being big kind of makes combat feel pretty open, but at the same time I feel like it kind of hampers it too. Just the camera, as you can see, the camera position feels inconsistent. I don't know. Kind of getting tossed around, so we'll retreat for now. I've not gotten comfortable enough with the game to speak while trying to fight. Fleeing combat's pretty easy though, as you can see. I'm just sort of running away. When you exit it, you still get experience for fighting even if you don't complete the battle. We will enter this fight though. I like fighting these guys. See if I can get some parries once they start charging me. So by parrying, you hold you hold the defensive button, which is L1 as I said. Kind of wait for them to attack, get a little flashing indicator on the screen, and then if you time your button press correctly, you can pull off a pretty damn powerful attack, which is cool. Let's play with some of the different tactics you can use, or techniques. Fans of classic Final Fantasy will like to see that Dragoon jump there. I think that's pretty fun. As you might be able to hear, there's some pretty good banter between all of the characters. Noctis and company, I guess narratively, they're all, you know, very good friends. Noctis is a prince of some sort, if I recall, and you're on sort of a bro road trip. The warp strike like that, like I just pulled off, that's probably one of my favorite parts of the combat system. It makes getting to enemies a little bit easier. As I said, if I get the camera to agree with me, because of the open world kind of nature of the game, it can be hard to stay close to your enemies, especially the faster ones. But the warp strikes kind of help close the gap a little bit better. There's so much kind of going on in this game, it's hard to just turn it into 15 minutes straight off. A lot of fighting, unfortunately. I'm not necessarily crazy about the amount of encounters. Let me switch to this attack. I like this one a lot. Oh. So that's one of the cool summoned weapons Noctis has. I think he has 4 or 5 weapons. I'll pull up the menu. We can look after this, but... So yeah. As you can see, combat, like I've kind of been talking about, it's not the most polished thing in the world, I don't think, right now. Also probably doesn't look that great since I'm pretty terrible with it. But parrying, my god, is it fun. I think any game with a really good parry mechanic instantly piques my interest, so that's always fun. Let's look at Noctis's different weapons. So you can see the Avenger, that's kind of the basic sword I've been using. There's the Blood Sword, which is more about healing than anything else. That Lance, which I've been using for some different attacks and combos. That's my Lance for, what do you call it, the Dragoon attack. And then the Zweiande, which is the big, bulky, mess you up if you get in my way weapon. So you can change their order and things in there. I tend to keep it pretty normal just because being a demo, I feel like that's probably the most optimal setup. But, you know, if you're playing the demo and you found a better way or a better rotation, let me know. Yeah, the warp strike as a distance closer is great. Just by holding L1 like I'm doing now, Noctis has some pretty good passive dodge skills. I'm not sure if it deflects all damage every time, or maybe it depends on the enemy, but by holding L1 you can kind of avoid a lot of damage as needed. Let's go to one of the camping sites, actually. They're pretty cool. It's one of my favorite little mechanics right now. Go to this one, it's the closest. So this is kind of how you, well, I guess we'll see when we get there, but camping is kind of your core leveling up, which is interesting to me because so much of traditional Final Fantasy involves using the tents and whatnot as save points out in the field. This is kind of a literal take on it, like that vault animation. Yeah, mobility-wise, the game's really, you know, it's pretty cool at that so far. Noctis can jump, sprint, etc. Also in combat, there's a lot of higher places around which you can warp strike to and sort of, you know, use the, I guess, height to your advantage. Also, you can see there's a little bit of a crouch stealth mechanic for recovery. Plays kind of an important role at part of the demo too, so you'll be able to see that once we get the full playthrough out. So these are one of the campsites. So you kind of just go up. There's a few scattered across the map, as you can see. So once you go there, you can go to your camp thing and rest up and get different buffs, accrue all your experience, and they have kind of a cool little fun scene to them too. Get some cool food stuff going on like that. You can see, get Prime, Sharp, and Immune as my perks now for the next day, or my, you know, little benefits, which is cool. You can have up to 3 at a time. And then after you get those, you can see, start to stack all of our experience we've gained out in the field. And obviously that's going to make you a lot stronger. The techniques element, I assume, is going to be obviously a very big part of the game when it comes out. For the demo purposes, you can't do anything with it, but I'd assume with new levels you start to learn. Oh, there's that classic fanfare. With experience, you're going to learn new techniques and everything to kind of use for the combat and stuff. Let's jump off, see what happens. Ooh, there's an item. Yeah, there's items scattered throughout. Not really in chests and everything, as Final Fantasy veterans will be able to remember, but they are littered kind of across the field, and just kind of run up to them, grab them pretty easily. Haven't found too much interesting stuff, just kind of, you know, easy to sell type items. Let's head back kind of to the main area so we can look at just how cool the world design of Final Fantasy 15 is. So as you can see visually, I mean, the game looks pretty good as it is. I'm sure it'll get a little bit more polished as it gets closer to release, which I'm very excited to see. Where are we gonna go? I guess we'll go around this way. But as it stands, you know, despite it's a demo, the game looks good. It runs pretty well. There's a few moments where the frame rate kind of hiccups, but again, for a game that's not released yet, I'm okay with that. I've been waiting, what, 10 years, I guess, for this now, so if some stuff doesn't look all that great, that's fine by me. At this point, at the very least. If it comes out looking like dog shit, then we'll have a problem, but for now, it's just kind of fun to run around and be like, holy crap, I'm playing Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, the dialogue between the characters, I kind of mentioned that a little bit before, but it's pretty great. You really do get the sense that, you know, it's a couple of friends on a cool little road trip. Some kind of like a little campground up there. And this will bring us down to the main area of the demo. Not crazy about Noctis's jump animation, but whatever. That's me being nitpicky. Yeah, saw the frame rate kind of stutter there a little bit. That I think the game treats that as a different area itself. As you play through the demo, you have to go through a section there, and if you're paying attention, you'll notice the map sort of changes, so I think that's kind of a little minor loading zone. Just gonna keep running. Let's take in the beautiful scenery. So you got some cool looking monsters, beasts, etc. Those rock formations off on the horizon I think are super cool for some reason. They feel very, I don't know, Final Fantasy to me. Just that sort of real world but fantasy element. What do they call it? Like magical realism, especially with the cars and, you know, some of the inhabitable spaces you can see, like this little hut thing there feels very normal. But then if you look a little further, you see giant things like that. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited about for, I think, not just Final Fantasy fans, but video game fans as a whole. Hopefully the game comes out soon. For now, we have Type Zeros in this demo to play, so that's great. But I'm really excited for the rest of the game, as I'm sure most of the video gaming world is. So stay tuned for our full playthrough. It's going to wrap up this 15 minutes of fame. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, I'm Ray Parecka, editor at Entertainment Buddha, and I hope you had as much fun as I did.
entertainmentbuddha.com